Good morning. Beautiful day here at a local regional park. We're having silly temperatures. Yesterday it got kind of hot into the hundreds, but today it's back down probably in the 80s. Very comfortable, very nice and warm. And I just came out to the park here to do a little skills practice and to play around with this survival knife. This is the, as seen on TV, Rocky Mountain survival knife that came out a few years ago, and kind of your generic 80s RAMBO style knife with the compass in the cap or pommel, and then a little hollow handle with a survival kit, and then a sawback blade. And I really can't call this a saw. It's really more of for notching. And the first thing I did out here this morning was to carve a piece of California walnut into a baton, and using the sawback, I notched around the handle end to create a little non-slip traction, and then using push cuts with the blade, kind of beveled them in. And I'm going to switch hands here, so you get this non-slip surface, and worked really well. Using this knife, I batoned up enough small wood that I could easily start a nice fire if I wanted to. I'm not going to do that because we are in California and we're always under fire danger in the summer months, so we haven't had rain sufficiently this year. Looks like a drought again. But that's California. California has a dry climate, and sometimes we get rain, and it's really true. Climate is what you have, weather is what you get, and this year we didn't get. But anyway, it's a inexpensive knife. The blade took a good edge. I don't think it'll hold it. It's probably a cheaper stainless steel, but it does take a good sharp edge, and it will work. The sawback, I had to take a needle file to and sharpen them up. They were just rounded and not useful at all. And I really don't believe in these as a saw, but like I said, I do see them as principally very useful for notching, to establish a notch, especially if you want to make a tent stake. You can make your X with the notch, and then you can just start using the blade to craft the rest of it, the straight edge. What I will say is a problem is when you want to do push cuts, you've got all this back here. About all you can do is get your thumb up on the clip, and you can do your push cuts with this last inch and a half perhaps of blade tip. You're not really able to push back here on the spine. You have a bottle cap lifter, and the saw teeth, they're rough on your fingers, so kind of have to hold it up here and do your push cuts. Other than that, it does have a hard plastic lining in the sheath to prevent you from piercing your leg. And then it has this small accessory pouch on the front with a whistle right here. And I have put a piece of paracord and attached the striker for the ferrocerium rod, which comes with it. And it works good, it works okay. And then it comes with a carborundum type stone, and I would put that at about a medium, somewhere between a medium and a fine grit. It's not quite as coarse as medium, but it's not fine either. And I'm not sure, I don't remember whether I've actually used this or not, to tell you the truth. But, you know, I've batoned with this before. I choke up on it, up here onto the handle, so I'm not flexing back here on this handle juncture. This is where a lot of the hollow handle knives are at their weakest. And if we opened this, we would see that there's just a epoxy plug that fills this hollow cavity about probably this far back to this first rib. And there's a small tang that's set in it. But surprisingly, it is really held up. There's been no loosening whatsoever. And like I said, I've done some batoning before with it. So will it fail some point? Yeah, probably, if I taxed it enough. But thus far, it's held up. So now one thing that happened this morning, which was a disappointment, was while batoning, this retention ring that keeps the little floating compass, which is a good compass, by the way, it does keep direction, split. And I noticed they were laying on the ground, and so there's the downside of that. You have this plastic that just shattered under vibration, I should think. So, you know, that's how we learn about the knives we carry, is by using them. You know, you don't want to go out and find out in an emergency that it is going to fail you. So I'll probably super glue this and like that. Now the old ones back in the 1980s had a zinc pot metal type handle, and as I recall, it was fatter, larger than this handle. This is quite small, and I have small hands anyway, so this is useful for me. But a larger man would have a real problem with that, I think. It wouldn't feel comfortable. But the zinc ones, and they had a zinc ring, and then under this cap were a couple of split rings for a wire saw. Some of you that had those during the 80s, and I know a lot of you did, we all were fans of RAMBO, will remember what I'm talking about. So anyway, I just thought I would share that, just out here having a little fun today, and it's just a beautiful morning. You're probably hearing the children's outdoor school over there nearby. I won't film this, it's just not wise to film children. Then you have law enforcement coming and what are you doing? So anyway, but we have a nice area out here in the calling. So I thought I would share that. I hope you all will have a good day, and we will talk to you later.